Hi everybody, welcome back to sprueVerse, my scale model universe. People of Earth, welcome to part 2 of Build the MAV from the motion picture The Martian, starring Matt Damon and of course directed by Ridley Scott. Brilliant director. I mean, who didn't love Alien? Just an incredibly gifted, talented director. And of course, I thought Matt Damon did an amazing job in this film. And as I mentioned in part 1, and by the way, if you haven't seen part 1, please go back and check it out, and you'll understand what all this madness is all about. And by the way, if you like the content, please like and subscribe. That means an awful lot to me. But here we are, and so this is the fantastic plastic all resin kit that I'm attempting to build. Excuse me, I say attempting because this is not without its issues, and there was a lot more cleanup to do than I had hoped there would be, and there's a lot more to come. And I did not want to make this build a sort of a review of the fantastic plastic kits, and I don't mean to bash anybody or denigrate anybody. That's not what this channel is about. It really is about a celebration of modeling and a celebration of all of the sort of the skills and tips and tricks that we're all learning together, right? Having said all of that, I don't know if I got a bad one in the batch or what have you, but my optimism and passion and enthusiasm for this has waned over the last few days. Really disappointed in this kit. Now it'll come together and it's going to look fine on the shelf, but there was just some needless things. Some of the resin parts I found were broken. Or severely warped. Now, even though it says in the instructions, go ahead and put these in warm water and they'll straighten right out, with all due respect, if you leave a kit in a box for 5 years, I kind of get it, you know? But if it's fresh from the company and it's all bent like that, it means it's been sitting on their shelf for God knows how long. Don't send me warped parts. Come on. How difficult is it to print something and then make sure that it looks nice when it goes out to the customer? Anyway, have I made my feelings known to Fantastic Plastic? I haven't. And I'm not sure I will, to be honest with you. So is that unfair of me? Well, maybe. But on the other hand, you know, hey, if you come across my channel and you see I've built your kit, there you go. Fair warning. Okay. I don't really want to get into the weeds really on it, but suffice it to say, lots of fit issues. It didn't come together very well, but we've made it work. Where we have some issues, and I'll try to get you a little closer here if I can, is let me lift this off its base and move this to one side for a second and take this off so it all doesn't fall apart, and then I can tip this up and show you. So where I'm going to run into trouble here is this join, and right now it looks incredibly rough. That's about as good as I could get in terms of trying to get this together. These pieces were not even. They were roughly printed, and there was not enough material for me to sand down to make them even. But my cure for this is I am going to take some of my 020 times 080 plastic strip. It's 2 millimeters thick, and I'm going to create a skirt, and I'm going to try and demonstrate that for you right now. But if you can see, once I lay this over here, you see all my problems will, come on, cooperate. All my problems will go away, as you can see, and we'll end up with a nice clean line. But while we're here, this is an example of what I have to repair. And there's a worse, well, here's the other one, right here. So I've got a lot of sanding to do. I've got a lot of puttying to do. And a lot of cleanup to do, but we're going to get there. The reason why I've brought you in on this stage is because this is basically the kit, right? So this is the landing gears. This is the secondary sort of system. And that sits like that. And then the command module sits on top. And I'm going to have it as if it's just landed, so it's going to look like that. Now, once I've got all of this detailed, I've got some decals on this. I think you'll agree that it's actually going to be a pretty decent representation of this kit. Pretty decent. And we'll get it there. And you know, and again, you know, like we always say, that's part of the hobby. But I don't know, you know, I sometimes I feel a little kind of when it comes to paying for something like this. This is not cheap. You know, this is not a $35, $40 kit. This is over $100. And so, I'm sorry, I expect a little more. Anyway, I'm not going to whine anymore. I'm going to carry on, and we'll get it whipped into shape. But I'm not thrilled with this kit. Okay, so what we're going to do is, the next thing we have to do is we've got to get all of the landing gear. I'm going to get all the landing gears detailed out right here and dry brushed and get this all whipped into shape. Once I've done that, we're going to give this a coat of white. Now, this has got the insignia white on it right now, and I did that to kind of unify everything, I should say. I've also got to put some clear glass in those windows, and I've got to start masking stuff off because we've got some black frames that I've got to do. I've got a couple of black panels I've got to do around this side. Let's see here. Where am I going? Here. This one here. These panels. A couple of these have got to be marked. They're marked as black. So I'm going to work on that and get that all whipped into shape. And we'll try to get this. I'll get some plastic card to put under this piece over here to try and get this puppy standing straight on its on its platform. And then the next thing we'll do is we'll start to sort of poke away at some of the details. So, but I wanted to start this particular, you know, the final episode of this, the final build series in this build, with kind of showing you where I am. And we'll slowly start to whip this into shape. So I'm going to start working on some of the dry brushing details of this. And then I'm going to start getting a coat of white on this just to kind of give it that blended look. And we'll start picking away at some of the panel details before we go to decals, and we'll see what that looks like. I don't know what it is, but whenever I'm in decal mode, I lose all sense of time and place, and I have to go, are you recording? Because otherwise you're just so far ahead of the game. But then I think to myself, it's decals. I mean, you know, and you know what's interesting is sometimes I get a little jaded and I think to myself, they don't want to watch that. My subscribers are not interested in watching me put decals on. But you know, it is part of the process. And sometimes it could even be about placement or something else. So anyway, I'm in decal mode. And I have to say, I'm having a lot of fun putting these on. Now, the sheet that came with this kit, my solver set, my Walther's solver set, which I'm in absolute, you know, well, I believe in this, like, this is my solver set. Now, some people say it's hard to get now. It's not on the shelves. I don't know. I've got plenty for now, knock on wood. But I can tell you it's working beautifully with this this sheet of decals, which is just a single sheet, and you've got to cut around everything, and that's a bit of a pain. But I'm enjoying this. They're going on quite nicely. I have my clear glass in. I've got a semi-gloss on this, and I've gone to town, or I'm going to town on the decals because why not? It's my model, and I will do what I please. Now, it's a little bland, so I am playing with it a little bit. I'm adding some things that don't exist on this sheet. I've looked at the film several times, and it's really hard to get a sense of what completely is there. But it sure is a lot of fun to go around and dress this kit up. And I have brought out my decal set from the Challenger, and there's a few small decals on there that I'm putting on here because why not? So here we go. I'm continuing to add my Ares 4 Mars Ascent vehicle name to the sides of this. Now they give you 3, and I'm going to use all 3 because I don't know. Sometimes you get one side of a model that you really fall in love with. At least that's what I find. I get one side of a model that I absolutely go, you know what? I'm really happy with that. And then you turn it around and you look on the other side and you go, ooh. At least that's what a mediocre modeler does and says. But, you know, I don't know. They're also a little finicky, these. You leave them in the water too long and they'll come right off, and then you're in a world of hurt. Leave them in not long enough and they just won't release. But, you know, be patient and they will. So that's what I'm doing. I have, while those are sort of setting, I have started to put decals on the actual landing gears themselves, and I'm actually quite happy with the way this is looking from the top view. What I have done is, and it's interesting. Here, let me give you a side. Actually, let me get you closer. And you can see, let's turn it this way. So what I've started to do, yeah, that's pretty good. And so I've been adding my flat steel from Tamiya, and I've also been adding a little copper, and then I'm adding a very off-white to it, and it gives it a really interesting quality. And when you look at all of the various different shots of it, I mean, obviously everything's gotten that red tinge, right? That sort of, so it's really hard to see. I was happy with my Insignia white. I did put a light dusting of my Comart opaque white on this. I don't know if you guys have tried these colors or not. I find these are from Iwata if you've never used them before. I'm hit and miss with them depending on what I'm doing. But if you're blending, They're really quite good. They come with these little balls inside, so when you shake it, you can shake up your paint. It's nice and thin. It goes into the brush perfectly. I mean, it was created for Iwata, so it should. But sometimes I'm a little suspicious. You know, I think these are for spraying on, you know, papers and crafts and that sort of a thing, not necessarily for our model for us. But they do blend quite nicely, so I'm happy to use those. I think that once this sits down on here, it's really starting to take shape. I mean, I'm pretty stoked with that. Let me get it a little more into the shot there. So that's looking pretty good. That is terrific. Now, obviously, excuse the angle. It's not sitting in here correctly. Of course, I put it on the side where it just wasn't. There we go. Okay, there we go. So it's really starting to come together. You're really starting to feel it. And I'm going, okay, you know what? I'm feeling a little better about things. So that's good. I'm going to continue to put my decals on here. I've got an Aries here. Let's put that on while we're together. Let's see here. We're going to put it, I think, there. So let me get this. Okay, kind of got a little wonky there on the bottom. I think that's looking pretty good. Get that settled down. It's biting on it quite nicely. So, okay, we'll leave that. And, you know, it's funky because it'll crease up on you, and then it just relaxes and it's fine. So I'm gonna decal away here and just keep on going. I'm having fun with this. I've got lots of little details to sort of play with. This one's fun. I put this one on from Discovery, and we'll do some. The other thing I think we'll do too is we'll get out some of my my pastels, and we'll do some of that. We'll also definitely do some washes to pick up some of the other elements. For sure, we'll be doing that. Like at the top of the command module here, all these elements, I'm going to put some washes in, some black washes. And then we'll do some a little more kind of we'll play with some of the, you know, the sort of the burn marks around some of the stabilizing jets that allow it to lower. You know what's fun about it? I was just sort of thinking about this the other day. It's like here we are from 2015 to today, and we think about how many times, whether it was Elon Musk's Dragon, or whether it was Blue Origin from Amazon, you know, that they're taking off and they're looking They're looking pretty much starting to look like a lot of these rockets, which is really interesting. And of course, now we're learning how to sort of bring these rockets down, land these rockets on themselves. So they're constantly, can be refueled and off they go. I think we're going to see some ridiculous advancements in the next 10 years. I'm sort of excited about that. So anyway, let me continue to decal, and then we'll come back, and I think we will do a final reveal. Now, I've not put this on its diorama yet. I may push that off just because I've got so many things I'm dealing with right now. I don't know if I'm going to have time to do it. We'll see. We'll see how it goes here. But we're definitely going to continue to put the decals on here and then do my final washes and weathering. And let's take a look at this after I'm finished. In the books, as they like to say. Okay, I spent about another hour or two from the last segment that was filmed doing some weathering and the rest of the decals and putting it all together. And here she is. I'm happy with it. It's a decent representation of the Mars Ascent vehicle from the film. Interestingly enough, I had a lot of fun going online and looking at all the various different NASA designs for this vehicle. Clearly, the production team got very, very close to the actual NASA renditions and the ideas that NASA has. And as I was saying earlier, you know, we've seen an awful lot of advancement from private sector, especially from Elon Musk's team at SpaceX. So it's good to have this. I mean, I'm happy I have this in my collection. I love the film, you know, so when I go to look at my shelf, you know, I sort of look at my models overall, or we're talking about them with friends and people who want to look at the collection. You know, they remember the film. They're touched by it. They're seeing something in person that sparks a memory or a moment in time. I'm happy with this. I did some upgrades to it. I cleaned out the windows, added clear windows. I added a few little details here to the top, some photo etch, because trying to put some new panel lines into this proved to be a little challenging for me. I was really going for it, and then I had a little bit of slippage. I had to clean it up, so I thought, abandoning that. So I went in this direction. But the decals are all quite crisp and clean, and I think they work quite well. Some nice details on this piece. I'm particularly think that the actual legs came out quite well. They look quite convincing. And quite, you know, they feel substantive and they feel correct. If I touch it, pick it up very carefully, you can see the hydrazine tanks are in, and I did a little bit of weathering underneath, but it's not something that is actually ever going to be seen, so I sort of avoided it. I had fit issues. We've talked about those, so I don't want to bore everybody with more whining about the fit issues. That's what you get with a kit where, unfortunately, whoever was casting this, it was either the end of the line for these molds, or there was some other issues. But I had some real difficulty with it, and fit was an issue, and that made it frustrating, but we made it through. The only other thing I will say is that I was hoping that some of the sort of the greeblies and details would have been a little crisper. So I added some things of my own. For instance, I added some card here to the top of the kit. You can see here some connective tissue. The command module that separates from the actual core of this ship. You can see where those blast connectors are, and we did have those. He did give us those, so I do appreciate that. But I just wanted I wanted it crisper, and I wanted a little more detail. And I was disappointed with some of the parts, the resin parts that clearly were a little tired and warped, but we got there. And I'm going to be absolutely thrilled to have this as part of my collection, and just another great memory of a film that I really dug. I had one subscriber who told me the book was better. You know, they usually are, right? So I say big thumbs up there, and maybe it's something I'll give a read during the holidays. You know, just to kind of sort of reconnect myself with something that I'm a lot in love with. But anyway, there it is. It is the Mars Ascent vehicle from the motion picture The Martian, starring Matt Damon, directed by Ridley Scott. And the kit, of course, in 1/72 scale, is from Fantastic Plastic, if you want to give it a go. And so we will put this on the display shelf and call this one done. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like my content, please like and subscribe. It means an awful lot to me. Thank you for coming on this journey to me. I really could not do this without my subscribers. I really appreciate each and every one of you. And as always, I wish all of you, please, be safe, be well, build something, and I'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.